The first game released in the decade of the Game Boy, as no one calls it, is the Japanese exclusive pinball game Shuugou Pinball Party. The game was always going to have stiff competition from the excellent Revenge of the Gator, but sadly this one doesn't come close to that. There are 2 tables to choose from, and both are Spartan. The only targets are tabs to hit that let you spell out Jalico to increase your multiplier. There's so little else to hold your attention. No rails or spinners or much of anything, really. There are bonus screens, but you won't see them much. You progress up and down screens via warps in the corners of the table, but you'll find yourself dropping much more often than climbing. Once you get down to the bottom screen, moving up is very rare, as the game doesn't so much allow you to aim your shots as hit and hope. The lack of anything interesting is a real negative in a genre where there aren't many aspects you need to get right. But amazingly, this isn't Pinball Party's biggest problem. Possibly the most important thing to get right in a pinball game is the ball movement, the physics and collision detection. If that's solid, the rest of the game basically writes itself. It's all wrong here. Balls bounce in unexpected directions from the flippers, or sometimes not at all. Sometimes the ball passes straight through things. Discard any intuition you think you have from playing pinball in the past. It doesn't apply here. Most frustratingly, on the second table, the gutters seem to suck the ball in where you think it would just rebound off. It's as if the ball climbs the wall and commits suicide over the side. You get a tilt feature, but only on the first table, as far as I can tell, and it doesn't work anyway. An absolute car crash of programming that seemingly wasn't tested at all. There's an annoying part on one of the tables where you're trying to move to the higher screen while this girl in a top hat conjures up a dragon, which then vomits out a fire ghost, which, despite being a non-physical being, can be destroyed by your ball. Fail to do so though, and it sets fire to one of your flippers, causing it to disappear. Inevitably, you drop down a screen, leaving you befuddled at the cheap failure and lack of need for any sort of skill in what should essentially be a game of skill. There's a nice innovation where sometimes, I don't know what causes this, it just happened a couple of times, your flippers are replaced by a breakout style paddle, or 2 men with a trampoline in a Game & Watch Fireman kind of way. This adds a couple of minutes of interest to the game, but that's it, and it happens so quickly that there's a good chance you won't react in time, and that ball's over. Allegedly, there are cameos by some of the best-known Jalico characters. I could identify Rit from the Rodland series, and nobody else. I think one of them is a pig, and I've no clue who the swimsuited and top-hatted magician lady is supposed to be. My gaming history education may not be up to scratch, but these other folk may well have been concocted and shoehorned into this game. Sorry, Jalico, your mascots just aren't that famous. The music for Table 1 is alright, but it loops after 13 seconds. That's not an exaggeration, I timed it. Table 2 is even worse. It's party music, if the party was being hosted by Benny Hill. Occasionally, you get a Japanese exclusive that's good enough to make you wonder why other countries were deprived of it. And a small handful that were amazing. And I'll do my best to give them the credit and attention they deserve. Other times, however, you breathe a sigh of relief that we were spared certain games over here. Pinball Party is certainly no party. Hell, it's barely even pinball.